DC here. Hi guys and gals. Well, hope you're well. And no, it's not Monday. And I'm on the street walking right now, but it'll be nevertheless a tag day. I will be doing Dave Nicholson's last Saturday 7-question tag. Hope you're doing well, Dave. I'm walking in front of the university, one of the campuses right now, and there's quite a few students. But anyway, let's just get into it. So, question 1. What was the last thing that made you laugh out loud? I laugh all the time, so let me see. It might have been, I think it was something about, let me see, what was it? Oh yes, it was a man who came up to me and said, a man at church, he came up to me, it was on Sunday, on Sunday, and said, he said, I gave this lady a big hug and a greetings kiss, thinking it was your wife, but it wasn't. I laughed because it was a friend of ours, and I guess he wasn't quite as close, and he said, I really thought it was her. And I looked at the lady he was talking about, and I said to my wife and I, we both laughed a bit, because first off, well, the hair color isn't the same, and the glasses aren't the same, she was not the same height. There might be slightly something with the shape of the face, but that was about it. So I don't know. I said to Mrs. DC, seems to me maybe he used that as an excuse to give the lady a kiss and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I took you for somebody else." Yeah, that was it. Question 2. Oh goodness. What is your biggest pet peeve? I know this has been asked before, and you know what? I'm not quite certain if I remember exactly what I said, but a pet peeve of mine right now is listening to all those so-called nice progressive people who are really supposed to be so nice and so much for social justice, and all they can do is swear at you and use the most vulgar language, but they're nice people. Yeah, and they're very tolerant usually. Yeah, that's a pet peeve of mine. Yes. Okay, question 3. Who was the last person you said I love you to? Mrs. DC. This morning, actually. Yeah. And I try to say it to my family every time that I talk or write to them. And I have some friends which I say it regularly. So, yeah. But this morning, the last person, Mrs. DC. That was question 3. Question 4. What is your biggest phobia? I don't really think I have an actual phobia. Some people fear heights. I don't really fear heights. I don't like reptiles. Is it a phobia? I don't like touching them, that's for sure. But I mean, I don't freak out. I don't freak out if I see a spider, for example, or a snake or something like that. So I'm not keen on. Some people like to have birds or animals walk over them. I don't like that. But once again, it's not actually a phobia. So I don't know. Guess I can't really answer that one. Question 5. What are some recent compliments you've received? The other day, I was told by someone that they liked my smile and that I definitely seem to have a good sense of humor. I guess that's a nice compliment. That's the most recent one I've received. Was it the week before or 2 weeks ago? My daughter-in-law said to me that I was a really good grandpa. That's a nice compliment. Yeah. Okay. Question 6. How many friends do you have in real life that you talk to regularly? Well, talking. I have friends that I write to a few words every day, and friends that I talk to, if I exclude my family members, probably I'd say 2. Yeah, something like that. I mean, there's been questions before, how many friends you have, and that's another thing. But friends that I would talk to or communicate regularly, yeah, just a few, 1 or 2. Okay, question 7 and last. That's a difficult one. How much money per month is enough for you to live comfortably? Now, we're not talking about the bare minimum here, are we? You said comfortably. Now, I'll forget where I live. I live in Switzerland. So, the numbers that I might say might seem really weird to you, but prices are quite different here. Now, we live in a house which, in the Swiss way of things, still has a mortgage. Move through here a bit. So we actually pay less rent because we have the mortgage than somebody who's renting an apartment. Because, renting an apartment here is very quickly, if we talk about Canadian dollars, it'll be very quickly in the 2,000 to 3,000 a month. Then there'd be food. So, oh goodness, I'd say comfortably without having to count on every little bit thing you're doing, probably 8,000 francs. Now, 8,000 francs is more than 10,000 Canadian. It's about today's day, probably close to 10,000 American. Now, we're talking about comfortably here, remember? That's not just, and I don't mean getting by. Comfortably is better than getting by, and it's having all the things that you want, all the things that you want. And I'm not talking about absolute great luxuries, but, all the things that you want. So, don't get me wrong, when I say that price, this is not getting by. It's much more than we would need to get by. Well, it's more. Much more not. It's more than you need to be okay. You're starting to get comfortable. And I say starting. Yeah. I know, it sounds like a lot of money. And it is. And we are living in Switzerland. So, that's the whole thing. A lot of times over here, numbers don't sum up to what they will do in other countries because you get paid more, but things cost more. So it kind of like, it levels out. Okay, well that's it. Thanks a lot, Dave. I didn't think they would be difficult, but some of them actually work. Okay, so thanks a lot, and hope that you all have a great week. Bye. I'll be DC signing off. Take care.